Hello everybody, welcome to Combat Sniper Volume 3, as promised, doing work on Thunder Mountain. If you want to see what this is all about, if you haven't seen these videos before, feel free to check out some of my earlier stuff, especially the first one, which sort of gives some in-depth analysis as to what's going on. But without any further ado, let's get into it. So let's start right off the bat with the ending of the last video, except from a first-person perspective, so you can see what I'm seeing. The reason I knew that demo was there is because he'd already camped me once and killed me. And every once in a while you have that life where you just don't do anything. So I've excluded a lot of those lives from these videos, but the rest of that will be pretty much my journey through this level. Like I said before, that was a reaction shot. I knew exactly where I needed to point that arrow to get him right in the head without thinking about it. I would have had that scout too if the wall wasn't in the way. So just a lot of practice goes into picking those shots right, so you just have to sort of stick with it and get used to it. But pretty much what you'll see here is my entire time through this map. And like I said before, occasionally we have lives where I just don't do anything. You won't see those, but once we get past, because we fail at this point, but the next point is pretty much my entire span throughout the level, and you'll sort of see how things work, how I, do my business. So there's that death, and we'll jump right into the next one. So this is shortly afterward, same part of the map here. The reason you'll see this clip is I think it illustrates one of the major importance why I use the Jarate. Like I said, even close range, there's a headshot in that heavy by the way, even close range you're still going to be using the Huntsman for the most part, so the SMG is sort of obsolete. But the Jarate, in a case like this where they're rushing the cart, medic, pyro, all kinds of people, it just helps your team from defending the cart. Even though they do eventually cap it, it's just, those couple extra seconds, you never know when you're going to need them. So this right here is on the next part of the map. Starting from this clip, for the rest of them, you'll hear that lady keep saying 5 minutes left in the mission. That's not exactly the time. I don't know why I kept doing that with the replay editor. But you can see they're sort of pushing the cart. Didn't do a whole lot up to this point. Got a couple kills here and there, but we're going to switch to first person here, because here's an important thing I want to mention. The soldier's firing away, and you see he got a shot below the demo man, which knocked him up. Which made it easy for me because I knew there was a little knock-up. I knew exactly where that demo man was going to be, so I was able to lay my arrow pretty effectively and then just get the kill right there, headshot in that pyro. And then you see that soldier burning just too late to get the Jarate in there, which is unfortunate. It's another reason, again, why I like using the Jarate more than the SMG. So, just keep doing some work here. I think this is the end of this clip. Yeah, I try to get these guys, but that grenade took me too much, and that's it. But one of the things I really like to do, and this is sort of stemming back from my spy days, because I play a lot of spy, is I usually sort of avoid the main path, take, the less traveled path, just because there's not a lot of traffic. I'm sort of able to do my stuff and not get in the way. By the way, even though that spy actually has a disguise, but he just happens to be disguised as a scout, so I know right away that that's a spy because he's not traveling as fast as he should be, so I'm going to make it my business to get him. Somehow I missed the Jarate on that. I'm not too worried about it at this point. I'm just going to fire away. Able to get a headshot there. A lot of leading the targets here. It takes a while to get used to it, but as soon as you can lead a target, you can get very dangerous. And like I said, just because I'm off the beaten path, look at how close I am to their heads, and not a lot of them can do a whole lot. The heavy didn't even see me. Take care of that engineer as well. Meet up with the team. Good job, folks. I see that sniper. I'm aiming for him. Another sniper will come out and sort of distract me. I'd sort of get into it with this heavy. I don't want to deal with him just because I know he's got sniper help, so I'm going to avoid it here. I encounter an engineer, and at the end of this fight, I missed the head there. Little skirmish action, headshot. I'm actually at 1 life at this point. It was very fortunate that he didn't finish me off. Even another stray bullet from that shotgun would have had me. So just take care of the teleporter. Like I said, I sort of avoid the action because when I do find somebody, it's usually a one-on-one situation where, as a Huntsman sniper, you have a big advantage here. I'm going to encounter the same engineer. I got to give him a lot of props because he jumped If he wouldn't have jumped, it would have been right in his head. Although, that being said, he's standing still right there, which makes it real easy for me to shoot him in the head. So as I'm moving here, sort of getting more toward the car, but on the way, of course, finish the teleporter. We're going to keep walking here, encounter a scout. He's actually got a buff, a crit buff from that the soda popper, but I'm able to turn around and just pick him off right away. Thankfully, he had to reload. So that's one of the things that's so dangerous about the Huntsman, is that from close range, he's very deadly. And that scout, he had the jump on me, but just because he had to reload, I had enough time to turn around and shoot him right in the head because it was right in front of my face. And we're actually going to watch this video again from the first-person perspective, just because there were a lot of nice things that happened, especially with that scout, that engineer's little skirmish here. I think it's a better way so you can actually see what I'm seeing. It's nice to sort of see the third-person view, just to sort of, you know, see the whole area. I think it's more cinematic, but as far as actually seeing what I see, I think this first person gives it a better perspective. Another thing you'll notice is that I play with the left-handed loadout. That's more of a personal, for fun choice, because I got sick of seeing right-handed. I figured, I'll switch them up, go left-handed. And like I said, once you learn the speed of the arrows and their trajectory, you can lead your targets pretty effectively. That's why I was picking that sniper off. Missed the head of that heavy. That medic, he tries to get me, but it's a big mistake because it's real easy for me to pick him off. That's one of the interesting things about playing a sniper with the Huntsman, is that at immediate range, as in right in front of your face, the Huntsman is actually more effective than the melee weapon, just because you get that guaranteed crit. It's going to do 150 damage to everybody. So if you get into a more heated battle where you're using the melee weapons, you know, you're not guaranteed headshots, but if somebody's charging at you blindly and he's not moving around, if he's in a straight line, it's going to be real easy for you to pick him off if you just stick with the Huntsman and try to get him in the head. So you've seen this, not a whole lot happening at this point, but I like to keep active running around. You don't like to get too predictable just when you're playing in general, especially when you're sniping, because people will learn your tactics and sort of adjust to them. Again, we see this engineer. You can see it would have had him, maybe it wouldn't have had him directly in the head, but it would have been close enough that it might have given it to me. There's a lot of leeway that you'll see, especially if you use the Huntsman very frequently, that a lot of headshots you don't think you probably should have gotten, you'll end up getting anyway, just because that's TF2 is really kind like that. There's the crit, boom, right there. So, like I said, I can't overemphasize how important it is to be able to learn exactly how high people's heads tend to be. And here's going to be a heavy. I probably shouldn't have gone in and killed him, but I was feeling so good about what had happened before that I was like, well, maybe I'll just get the headshot and finish him, but the cart blocked it, and that's all she wrote. So this life is immediately afterward. You can see now I'm actually sort of heading toward the main drag, as it were, because we're getting to the point where I don't have a whole lot of time to screw around. They're starting to get close. We need to be able to step up our defense and take care of it, so I wasn't sure if that was a spy, and you always just shoot just in case. So we're going to get a little skirmish with the demo man here. I sort of go at him. Eventually he just sort of doesn't notice where he is, falls off close enough. I didn't get the kill, but we got the death, which is really all you can ask for. I was able to get a headshot and then engineer. One of the other things, as you start using the Huntsman, is that it doesn't really matter if there's a bunch of guys, you just sort of fire at them where their heads would be, and hopefully you hit one of them, and if you do, you get, you know, the points, otherwise you don't. So there's going to be a heavy up here. Headshot, flaming arrow, able to take me down, but he's really weakened and gets finished off immediately afterward, which is really all you can ask for. And here we have the red team's last stand, as I like to call it, sort of getting close to the end, the last point. She's saying 5 minutes left in the mission, but there's really much less than that. It's about 2 or 3 at this point. You saw a headshot on the heavy, just he was standing still, real easy to pick off. I like being up here. You got the high ground, which is nice. Pick off that engineer, and then the sentry comes right afterward. If you got an engineer who's sort of hanging out by his sentry, it's better to shoot the engineer first, obviously, if you can. It might be a little difficult. If the engineer's smart, he's going to move around, but if you can pick him off, hit him, and then take his sentry afterward, because then it's going to be defenseless. I like being on the higher ground, especially in this case, because it's real easy for me to see the heads of people at a lower level, and because I'm higher up with the Huntsman, sort of, the arrows, you know, are suspect to gravity, so they'll drop a little bit. They tend to be easier to get headshots when you're shooting from above. So, and especially in this case as well, because this is exactly where the card's going to need to travel if they get it close enough. So we just need to be able to hold our points, you know, stand our ground, and just take care of things. So you see I'm sort of going from side to side. Most people will take those two left and right, those main paths. Most people won't go around to where the first capture point is, because it's a, you know, it's a really out of the way as far as getting to the cart, getting the point is concerned. So you can see we just got to hold it for another 10 seconds, and then we'll have the win here. So I'm just sort of waiting for that heavy, and that demo man, of course, takes the air from him. So at this point, I'm going for the humiliation, not realizing there's a heavy on the card, and then I sort of realize, why haven't we won yet? And of course, there's a heavy there, but not too important. We finish him, and that's the game. Here again, we're going to take the first-person perspective from everything. I thought that was a really nice life, sort of exemplified what I do on a regular basis. So I think it'll give a lot of you a really nice way to see exactly how I operate. As far as peeking around corners, not making myself too vulnerable. It might give you a little insight as to exactly how far the arrows tend to drop. And another thing too is that the arrows won't drop as far depending on how long you're holding back the bow. So even within, you know, where your crosshairs are, it's not always going to be the same level of drop. So you see exactly what I'm doing. That mag, didn't realize there's a gap there, so I'm able to take care of him. High priority targets are really nice, and one of the things here, once we get, you can saw that I was getting into a little skirmish with that sniper there. One of the advantages that the Huntsman has over the traditional sniper rifle is that because the arrows will travel across the sky, you can fire them and then retreat to safety before the other sniper is able to peek around the corner and fire at you. And that's exactly what happened in that case, because I knew he was going to come get me. I fired an arrow at nobody, and he walked right into it. So it's just little things you pick up as you use the Huntsman more and more, and especially as you learn to lead your target. You can fire an arrow and be completely safe by the time that the arrow is at the location where it can do any damage. So, and that's one of the things that, it's basically how I was able to become so successful, is that when my arrow is off of my bow, I am usually nowhere near the area. So thank you for watching the video. I know this one was pretty long compared to some of the other ones, but hopefully you guys liked it. So feel free to comment, do whatever, and thanks again. So before I let you guys go, at the risk of making this video absurdly long, I was just having some fun here in the new Halloween event that was just released on Thursday. So you can see I'm just going heavy. I usually just kind of hang out in the underworld for a while, just get a little double kill action. One of the things that I just kind of like to do for fun is just basically, in the event that a box spawns down here to get those haunted key or whatever, it's really heavy. He's got so much life that he can just stay down here for a lot longer than any other class just by himself. He's got 300 life, and you know, especially if you've got the sandwich, which I do, but you can even just stand here on that little island, which I'm sort of moving around more. This was early on. You can really just stand on that one with that health pack for a really long time, but so at this point I'm just basically going to charge in. The point is now available, so I'm just going to do business here. I'm like, get out of my way, I gotta kill some things. So I basically mow down a lot of the entire team by myself with that invul and that crits. As a heavy, that gets real nasty, so just having some fun. This Halloween event is pretty fun, so I've been living it up here. Thanks again for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.